Okay, next I'm going to show you a wall press dead bug variation. So typical or normal dead bug, you lay on your back. Please ignore our non-fitness content related bar cart in the background. That is not there. So lay on the ground, knees are bent, and a dead bug looks like this. It's very similar to a bird dog, only now you're laying on your back. The big things with a dead bug are, since you're on the ground, is to use the floor as feedback. So with your knees bent up like this, you can see how my back wants to arch and I can fit my hand underneath there. And that's because I'm not engaging my core, my ribs are flared open, like I can feel the edges of my rib cage here. So what I want to do to counteract that is imagine I'm closing my rib cage up, taking those edges and squeezing them together, closing it up, squeezing my lower belly towards the floor. And this is hard to do while I'm talking, so bear with me. So squeeze everything towards the floor so that your hand cannot get underneath. And you can still, well, actually not really. Yeah, keep that rib cage down. And then here also my head is neutral, so I'm not lifting, I'm not jutting my chin up. I'm kind of feeling for that little nodule on the back of my skull and pushing that down into the ground. And now, so I'm super engaged here, my core is tight. I'm not, again, kind of think about, same with when we talked about the low bolt pulse and like the downward dog, lifting up rather than pushing out to engage the core. Lift up and in, don't push out. One cue that someone gave me one time as a female to help with engaging the pelvic floor and the inner core is to almost imagine that there is a marble inside of you and you're trying to lift that marble up higher inside of you. So you can kind of think about that sensation when I say lift, don't push. So the variation that we're gonna do here is the dead bug, but with a wall push. So get any sort of firm wall behind you, and the arms are gonna be up overhead so that you can push down into the wall. Now you see how much my body moves when I do that push? That's how hard I'm pushing. I'm imagining like this wall is gonna close in on me and squish me, and I am pushing with all of my might to keep it away from me. So we get into our position. I'm all engaged, my rib cage is knitted down, my lower back is flat, I'm lifting my marble, my neck is neutral, and then I'm gonna push. And holding this already is very difficult. So you just hold this brace. I'm already starting to shake. But to add the dead bug legs, what we'll do is we'll push, keeping that engagement, keeping the legs bent at 90-degree angles. I want you to tap your heel down and bring it back up. Still pushing, 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 alternating sides. You kind of breathe in and out, and you bring the leg back up. Big thing here is that your other leg is gonna wanna kind of shift up. Maybe I was kind of doing that as I was explaining this. You wanna try to keep that leg at that 90-degree angle. So it's not like a bicycle, but rather staying still, legs stay at 90 degrees, and then tapping. So as you tap, the other leg does not move. And it's not an extension, it's a bent leg tap. And I found that to be more challenging, honestly, than the extension. As you do these, as that becomes easier and you get stronger at these, you can switch to more of a double leg tap. It doesn't matter how many legs you use, one or two at a time, how low you get to the floor. What matters here is that you're not losing that connection with the lower back as you do this. A lot of time I'll see people have that connection, they go down, they lose it, they stretch the core, they're not engaging anymore, my ribs are flared. and then they find the connection again at the top. So if you can only come down as you're pushing to right there, that's fine. Come right back up. And let's see what else. It's helpful to use your breathing as you're doing core exercises, especially involving the pelvic floor, to breathe in and brace as you are doing the stretch. So that would be when the leg is coming down, and then breathe out to kind of contract and bring everything back in together. Kind of the same thing if you think about like in yoga when you do cat-cow. So with cat-cow, you are breathing in during your cow, the core is stretched, and then breathing out as you crunch the core in and round it to cat. Same kind of idea when you're doing any core exercises. But yeah, if you think you're pushing hard enough into the wall, push harder. It's really easy to get focused on the legs and you stop pushing. Push into the wall and you will feel a difference.